Hi divas, are you thinking about getting custom makeup or did you just get it and you want to get better? Well, I got you because today I'm going to be sharing my ultimate tips and tricks and tutorials for custom makeup. So hopefully you'll be able to learn a lot, and this video was so heavily requested, so I'm really excited to share it but also low-key nervous. But I have a lot to share with you, so I sectioned this video into chapters so you can navigate through it easily, and I also have a little surprise for you at the end, so make sure to stick around for that. But now let's get started. Before we do anything though, we have to equip our skin tone because we can't do that in the makeup chair, at least at the very start. So let's go and equip our skin tone. I usually just kind of stick to these and then customize them a little bit. So let's say I want to go for this one, and I can go to this color wheel and just go to wheel, and I can kind of mess around with it here as much as I want. For example, if I want to make it a little bit cooler toned, I can just slightly move it to this side, or maybe a little bit warmer toned. I can go here. Okay, maybe not that much, but let's just go back to kind of where we started, which would be around here, and I'm gonna make it a little bit darker. But now that we have our skin ready, we can start doing makeup. But before we start doing that, you need to know where to sit. So in Ilana's salon, let's go in there. We have a lot of chairs available, but not all of them are equally good. So in my opinion, this chair over here is the best because your makeup will look the most accurate how it looks in game. The lighting here is the best. But if I go sit over here, for example, it's just a little bit darker. The difference seems quite minimal, but trust me, once you're working with makeup, you really want to see it as accurately as possible. The same thing goes for the chairs in VIP. In my opinion, this one is the best one. The makeup is the most accurate. But if we go sit next to the window, it's just a little bit darker. Now that we looked at that, we can go and sit in the chair, and I'm gonna introduce you to this UI over here because we'll mostly be ignoring this side for now. I know it might be scary, this is what you're used to, but this is what we're focusing on now. So just the general overview of these sections over here. So of course you have everything that a typical face has. We have the eyes here, we have eyebrows, lips, blushes, and highlights. But this section, I'm gonna steal the name for this from The Sims and call it skin details, is where you will probably spend the most time once you get a little bit more comfortable with custom makeup. So this section has sections of its own. You have everything here, which is very filled with everything. I kind of have gotten used to this because I remember the layout of most things, but I would definitely recommend going into subsections, especially if you're in a hurry. So we have eyeshadows here, blushes, noses, skin, so that is kind of vitiligo, freckles, moles, stuff like that, and other, where you have some miscellaneous things like piercings or some markings on your face, stickers, things like that. And in this section, you can actually layer 6 items on yourself. So let's just click 6 random items so I can show you how that looks. So let's go for a nose, maybe some eyeshadow, let's go for a blush, and if we go into skin, maybe a bit of vitiligo, and in other, we can go for this face highlights, maybe some more eyeshadow. But now you see that things are looking a little bit funky, a little bit weird. So now I have to show you something else that is incredibly important, which is mostly affecting the nose. So you can see that we don't actually have a nose right now, which is concerning because you equipped it. Well, you can drag these things around and reorder them. So I'm dragging this highlight, which is covering the nose, and I'm gonna drop it onto the nose right here, and that replaces their order, which actually made the nose pop up. So it is important how you layer these things because they stack on top of each other. But now if you want to get rid of everything that we just put on, the quickest way to do that is just go over here and just click X. Another thing that you can also do is go over here onto the masculine section, and you get some new options, which you can use on a female model as well. So you can get a lot of new things and you can combine them with your feminine things as well. So you basically have endless options in here. Now that you kind of know your general way around this UI, I'm gonna show you my favorite things to use, starting with the eyes. These are currently my absolute favorite eyes. They are absolutely beautiful, sort of realistic. These eyes are a little bit more cutesy, very warm, perfect for some cuter themes, and they also work really wonderfully in some more unnatural colors. So if you want to make some kind of really adorable fairy, but they work quite nicely in natural colors as well for just really cute round eyes. These are really perfect for some non-human themes, but also kind of cutesy. But on the other hand, I think that these are more of a serious version of those. For some more normal eyes, I also really like these. They're absolutely stunning. These are sort of similar, but absolutely beautiful as well. So are these and these. These are a little bit more expressive, but also quite glamorous when it comes to their makeup. And all of these eyes recolor quite nicely, so you can change up the colors as much as you want. These are also a very big classic in the community. I don't really use them as much, but they're very beautiful eyes, and many people use them. These are absolutely adorable as well. They don't really color as nicely though, because they have a bit of an orange tint with most colors, but I prefer to make them a little bit darker so you can't really see that, and they're so beautiful. I also like these eyes quite a lot, and these, they'll have a very cutesy effect. And for some more serious glam eyes, I like to use these, and these. I also really adore these eyes. They're absolutely so cutesy and playful. These are also quite pretty, and these can be quite gorgeous. I really like these as well for some more cutesy themes, and these too, especially for fairies and stuff like that. And one more thing that I want to show you are these closed eyes. They are perfect for themes where you're a little bit tired, a little bit sleepy, but also I like to use them for divine beings. It really gives you that ethereal look. Now let's move on to eyebrows, and I really like using these newer ones. They're kind of a little bit fluffy and a little bit softer, but you can make them a little bit darker if you want them to appear stronger, and they're also perfectly recolorable. We also have these right here. I like these as well because they're just a little bit more cutesy, but I do prefer typically straighter eyebrows unless I want to express some specific emotion, so these are a little bit more concerned. Eyebrows are really perfect for more expressive looks, so you can also make them very concerned, which is also kind of cute for some more non-human looks. These eyebrows over here are also quite pretty, and these are more like an older version of these ones, so they're kind of a rework. We also have these near the bottom, which are absolutely beautiful, and some more thin eyebrows for some more alternative looks and stuff like that, because it's important to have those options as well. These are my favorite thin eyebrows. Moving on to lips, I absolutely adore these. They are one of my recent favorites. I also like these for more of a glam matte lipstick look. These are also very pretty for more natural looks. These are an absolute superstar. I think that pretty much everyone uses them. These are gorgeous as well. These are also really pretty for some more glam makeup looks, and so are these. These are very perfect for some more rounded glossy lips. I love these open ones. They're very cutesy, and these are kind of a less cutesy version of those. If you want a really sweet smile, I would recommend these. Something I have to show you are these over here with little fangs peeking through. That is perfect for themes like vampire or werewolf or any sort of monstrous being. And now towards the end, we have these, which are actually OG superstars, as I call them, because these right here are a rework of those, but these are still also very beautiful, and these are also OG lips that a lot of people use. Moving on to blushes and highlights, I really like this one. It is very cutesy and quite shiny. This one as well, it's really glowy with a bit of blush, which is quite cute. I absolutely love this one, but not necessarily for casual looks. I think that this one looks very beautiful for non-human looks. I also really like this highlight. It's just a round highlight on your face. It's relatively subtle. But speaking of highlights, we have a couple of highlights around here, which are really useful to make your face pop a little bit more. And I like this one as well because it gives you a more of a sculpted look while also giving you a highlight. Speaking of sculpted look, this is a really nice contour blush combo that I love as well. And now let's go into the most exciting category, and let's go through each of these. So for the eyeshadow, I don't necessarily have a specific favorite one because it really depends on what kind of look you're making, but I like using this one for more normal looks in more neutral colors because it just gives the eyes a bit more depth. Moving on to blush, again, it really depends on what kind of effect you want to go for. We have a lot of different diverse options. I really like using these in more soft colors, but my absolute favorite blush is actually this at the very bottom. It is very subtle, but it just adds a tinge of color, which I really like. Let's move on to noses, and again, I don't necessarily have a favorite one, but we have a lot of diverse different noses, sizes and shapes, which is absolutely perfect for any sort of face that you want to make. In the skin category, I really like using these freckles. They're absolutely adorable, and you can make them a little bit darker if you want to. These moles and freckles are really cute as well, and vitiligo, whether you want to match it with your body or if you want to build it up potentially for some interesting fantasy looks, it is very useful. Lastly, in this category, it also really depends on what kind of look you're going for. I really like this heart because because you can make some very interesting looks with this for fantasy looks. I love that we have some tears to show some emotion. I love these stickers, especially for the Korra theme, and I absolutely love that we have this set of piercings as well. But something that you will probably find the most useful are these highlights in here, just in case your blush category is already taken by something else. But now that you've seen all of my favorites and got to know pretty much the entirety of the UI besides this thing, which I'll talk about in a couple of minutes, let's actually go through my process of making a face. And I will start with actually going in here, which is where your saved faces are. So I have quite a few of them, but I don't really have that many. I still really need to work super hard on expanding my collection, to be honest. But before I talk about this section in depth, I just want to show you a quick little hack for changing your skin tone while you're in the chair, which is very useful for when you're in the game and you don't really have time to run to the skin tone booth. I rarely even use it at this point unless I need a very specific color, because we have this button over here, equip with skin color, and you can toggle this to be yes or no. If it says no, you can change your face, but it's not going to touch your skin tone. It stays the same. But if I say yes, it is going to equip the skin tone that you see in this little preview as well. But let's just say that, for example, I want to have this skin tone right now, but I don't really want to have this face. So let's just remove it, and there, I changed my skin tone. And now we can actually start making our face. So I'm going to be using all of my favorites, and the thing that I start with usually are the eyes. So I'm going to start with, let's go for these cutesy eyes. And recently I do prefer using darker colors, like you've probably picked up already. So let's go for brown eyes like this. And the next thing I move on to is actually the nose, because that's going to be very important for the next step. But right now, let's pick a nose, and I want to go with this one. As I said, I don't necessarily have a favorite, but something I do is lower the opacity slightly, because if you have the nose be in white, it has this white highlight over here, which is, for me at least, a little bit too much. So I change it to sort of match the skin tone, which removes the highlight almost completely. But then I just slide this a little bit down to make it just a little bit brighter. So it has a bit of a tint of the color, so it makes the highlight a little bit more natural. And my next step is typically the lips, because the nose and the lips are very connected and very important to each other. So if we go for these lips, these are perfectly fine, perfectly usable. These as well, perfectly usable. These also. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's go down to find some bigger lips. And for example, these, they are already borderline not usable. Number one tip when it comes to noses, never, ever, ever let your nose touch your lips. This is already way too close. And this is just criminal. Absolutely never. So that is why I always equip my nose before picking my lips. And I want to go for these lips because they're absolutely adorable, and I already love this color, but I will mess around with the color just to kind of show you how I usually pick that. So I kind of start with maybe this color because it just gives you really pink cutesy lips. So we're on this side, and maybe I can make it a little bit more red and then maybe a little bit darker. That already gives you a slightly nicer effect, a nicer color, a little bit more flattering to the skin. If I want it to be a little bit less saturated, I'm just gonna drag this down a little bit, and then we can go lighter or even darker. But I do kind of prefer, for more natural looks, to go here in red, slightly orangey, and then kind of try to match it to what I think it would look natural for this skin tone. Maybe a little bit less saturated, so I think that this would be a pretty good match, a little bit brighter. Next up, let's move on to the eyebrows, because this is currently looking a little bit scary. These are a little bit more straight eyebrows. These are a little bit more fluffy and natural. We might actually want to go for these because I want to go for a more natural look here. I do want to make them a little bit darker though. Now let's move on to blush, and I will actually just go for highlight in this section, and I want to go for this circle one because it just gives the center of the face a bit of brightness. But same like I talked about the highlight on the nose, I'm gonna go color it in this color, which basically just removes it, but I will make it just a little bit brighter because I don't really like pure white highlight. It looks very unnatural to me. And let's move on into the most fun section and go to our skin details, and I'm gonna go with eyeshadow first. And I don't really want to have makeup on this look, to be honest, so I'm just gonna equip this eyeshadow that I talked about previously, how it just gives the eyes a bit of depth. So let me show you what I mean. I'm gonna color it in this lighter brown color, and you can barely see that it's there, but trust me, it does something. If I remove it, you see that a bit of shadow goes away here, so I think that adds just a bit of something so the eyes aren't super plain. Now let's move on to blush, and I'm gonna go for my absolute favorite, but I could add this one to it, and I think that that is quite cute. Let's move on to the skin category, and I'm gonna add some freckles to this look, but I want to make them darker so we can see them a little bit better. And we might as well, since we have one more slot, add some more spots to this. I'm gonna add even more just so we kind of fill up the face. So we can go with this one. And now that we have our face fully finished and I cannot add anything more, we can go over here and click this plus icon, which is gonna be saving my face so it's right here whenever I want it. I can also delete it if I don't want to have it anymore, because this is actually not really infinite. I believe that the limit for custom faces is 85. So you've seen my process, and now I can just show you a couple of faces that I have saved that I want to share with you. So let's just do a speed tutorial for everything. I'm gonna equip this face over here and show you everything that I used for it. So we have these eyes in this color, these eyebrows in this color, these lips over here in this color, this highlight in this color, nose, freckles, and some more freckles. We have a lot of freckles layered on this one, and a blush. Moving on to this beautiful face, and these are the eyes that I used in this color. The eyebrows are right over here in this color. We have these lips in this color, this blush in this color, a nose, a bit of highlight, and the eyeshadow in this color. Moving on to this face, these are the eyes that I used in this beautiful green color. We have slightly more manicured eyebrows in this color, these lips in this color, the highlight in this color, and we have a nose, some highlights, the blush under the eyes, and this eyeshadow in this color. Next up, I'm going to show you this one. I've been kind of obsessed with this one lately. It's again with these eyes. I've used them a lot recently. These eyebrows, we have these gorgeous lips in this absolutely stunning color, this blush in this color, and we have this face highlight over here in pure white, a nose over here, and some spots in this color. Next up, let's go for another very expressive face, and it's using these very iconic eyes in this dark brown color, as well as these OG eyebrows in this color. We have these gorgeous lips in this absolutely beautiful orangey tone, a highlight in this warm tone, a cute button nose, a bit of a stronger blush, some more highlights, and the eyeshadow. Now let's move on to this beautiful face. It is just so glowy and clean and cute, and for that one I used these eyes in this color, these older eyebrows in this color. For the lips, I went with these in this really pretty pinkish color. We have a highlight here for the blush in this color, and for the skin details we have a nose, a blush, and another blush layered on top of it. I am skipping some interesting looks which I will show you later, because right now we're focusing on human faces. So just a couple of more. I'm gonna share this one, and it's using these eyes, which can't really be recolored, so they're just brown. I've used these eyebrows. We have these lips in this absolutely stunning color, and you see that I use them a bunch. For the blush, we have this highlight in this really warm color, and in the skin details we have this nose, this blush that I really like to use that is very subtle, and this blush under the eyes. And the last face that I want to share with you in this section is going to be this one. So I used these eyes over here in pure black. The eyebrows are again these more older ones in pure black again. I used these lips over here in this beautiful darker rich color. We have this blush with some more structure to the face in this color, and here we just have a nose and another blush to build on top of the previous one in pure white. It's very important to also have a lot of different skin tones in here, so you can easily equip them in the game, so you don't have to run to the skin booth like I talked about previously. So you just have a lot of diversity here as is, so you have a lot of choices. So for example, if I wanted this face but with a lighter skin tone, I would in the game do this really quickly, and there, everything changed. But speaking of skin tones, I'm gonna change this one to a bit of a different skin tone, and we are gonna go with this one, because right now we are moving on to our non-human section of the video, which I'm sure a lot of you were excited for and we're waiting for it. So I'm gonna go for this skin because I honestly just don't want to go to the skin tone booth, and I really like using this color recently. So let's start. And we're gonna start actually in this section in eyeshadows, because I'm gonna try to teach you how to make faces without actually using eyes. So I'm gonna equip this one and then this one on top of it, and that's already giving you a bit of an eye effect. I would also like to include this one for a little bit more color to this area, but we'll mess with stuff a little bit later. You can also add these if you want some tears. That would probably look very interesting like this. I don't really want to keep that right now. And these or these are also like very OG eyeshadows that most people use, and they're very useful for this. So I'm gonna take this one and maybe make it in a color like this one, maybe a little bit less intense. And I'm gonna go put it in the very back, so we just have it peeking through here and here, just for a little bit more depth and wideness to it. And I wasn't really changing the colors of stuff, so we could change colors around here a little bit more. I really like this combo of this dark blue and green. It's really great for some aliens, aquatic creatures, divine beings. It's a very diverse color scheme. Next thing I want to add to this is a nose. We can go with any nose, so I'm just gonna go with this one, and I would like to equip it in a color that is kind of close to the skin. So let's go right here, but make it just a little bit lighter for the highlight to pop through. Next up, I'm gonna move on to the lips, and let's just go with these. Perfect, they're already in more of a greeny color. Now let's go to eyebrows, and eyebrows like these are very perfect for themes like this because they just look a little bit more interesting. You probably wouldn't really have eyebrows like this on a casual human looks. Sometimes you can, but it's more possible in these, and it just makes them look a little bit more unique. Same for these eyebrows, but I really prefer using these because they're a little bit more extreme when it comes to their shape, and I like to match them with the lips, which necessarily doesn't make sense, but it just looks good. It gives you a really good balance of colors. Next up, I'm gonna do blush, and I want to use this one because look how beautiful that is. It is gorgeous. It gives you such a perfect balance of colors everywhere. You have a bit of darkness here, and then it's just brighter in the middle, especially when it's a little bit more close to the colors that you have. So we have green here, and then it goes to darker color to match the skin a little bit better. It's just stunning and gorgeous. Honestly, this blush carries like most of my ethereal looks. Sometimes I do check if I want to have eyes on looks like this, so I'm just gonna try these. I don't really like how this looks. It kind of ruins the illusion for me. Even more occult eyes like this, they just don't really go. But when I'm not sure, sometimes I also go all the way down here and equip the closed eyes just to see. But for this, since it's a bit of a darker look, you can't really even see them. There's no point. So since we decided that we don't really want eyes, let's go back to this section, and I have room just for one more. This builds up quickly if you're not careful. Let's go to skin, and I'm gonna add a bit of vitiligo because I did mention that this is a really pretty for looks like this. So let's go for one that is like this, but I want to make it a little bit darker and maybe a little bit more blue. And we need to send that to the very front, so it's not covering up all of the makeup. And this look would actually really benefit from the code eyelashes, so I'm gonna go equip those so you can see the difference. So here's how it looks with the code eyelashes. I also colored them to slightly match the colors so they're not pure black. So now that we are ready and finished with this, we can also save this look. And just like I did with the human faces, I'm also gonna share some quick tutorials with you for non-human faces. So let's start with this one. And again, I didn't really use any eyes on this, so we have just the makeup, and I started with this heart in this color, the nose in pure white. We have this eyeshadow in this color, and then on top of it we have this one in this color, and at the very end we have this one in this color, and the lips I used here are these in this color. Next up, I'm gonna share this one with you, which is just a normal human face but in this sort of frame on a fully black body. So how you do that is you go and make your body and the skin tone fully black, then go into this skin detail section and equip the heart, and I put it to be in this color. It is a little bit tricky to get a skin tone looking color, but it does look really close to a skin tone. And then you just make a normal face. I just made this one, which I think I actually did share with you in the human section, so I'm just gonna fly through this. This is the nose in this color. These are the eyes in this color. We have these eyebrows over here, the lips in this beautiful color, and I used this highlight over here as well. Next up, I'm gonna share this look with you. It's also really beautiful for some kind of ethereal, aquatic, fairy being. So as long as you just kind of layer on a bunch of stuff, you're doing well. That's kind of the logic with these looks, because you see that it's kind of not anything specific. There's just a lot to it. I can't really pinpoint what this is supposed to be. It all just looks interesting together. That is the entire point. But this one has eyes, so I used these eyes in this color, these eyebrows in this color. We have these first lips here in this color, and this first blush in this color. And this is where most of the fun stuff is. So we have the vitiligo in this color at the very start. Following that is a nose in this color, and then another nose as well. Sometimes I layer two similar noses on top of each other if I wanted to look even stronger. So this is why this nose is so dark. Then we have this eyeshadow in this color and this one in this color. Next up, I'm going to share this face with you. It has a lot going on. I think that this setup is kind of similar to the previous one because it is using these eyes. We have these eyebrows over here. We're of course using these lips in this color as well. And I used this blush over here and this light purpley color. And then we have most of our stuff happening here again. I layered all of the different vitiligos together, so they're in different shades, so they're kind of giving this effect of layers and a bit more detail. It does look a little bit messy far away in the game, I do have to admit that, but it is really beautiful up close. And I used two noses here as well, so they kind of pop through all of these layers. And I didn't actually use any eyeshadow because there's a lot to this face already, so I just used these gems in this color. Next up, let me share this face with you. It is absolutely adorable. So here I used these eyes in this color. We have these eyebrows in this color, these lips in this color. I try to keep everything just very soft and pink. I think that this is very perfect for some upcoming, probably very exciting Valentine's Day themes, but I used this blush in pure white. And then again, we have the most happening here. So I started with this heart in this color, and again I started layering some vitiligos, so we have them in two different colors. I used this eyeshadow to just add a bit of something to the eyes. We have this nose over here and then this blush over here. And actually I just realized that I made a little mistake here, so I could actually reverse these two so the nose pops through a little bit more. And another face that I want to share with you is this one, because it's a little bit more creepy, so let's talk about how to achieve that. So for the eyes, I actually went for some older eyes because they are actually a little bit easier to work with when you're making creepy looks, because they just look creepy by themselves in my opinion. So I used these eyes all the way at the bottom here in this color. I actually didn't use any eyebrows for this look, so that's intensifying the creepy factor even more. For the lips, I use these smudged lips over here. They're really perfect for some alternative looks like grunge or rockstar or punk, but also great for looks like horror and something creepy like this. For the blush, I used this one, but in a very dark color, so we still have a slight gradient of colors, but you can't really see it that well. And in this last section of skin details, we have a nose. And again, I made a slight mistake where the nose is getting covered, but I don't really mind it too much because I want this face to be very dark and you can't really see the details well. So we have this eyeshadow in pure black almost. We have this other one in red, so you can just see it a little bit underneath. We have vitiligo in very dark red, which is meant to be representing blood. And then we have this highlight over in almost fully black. But that is all I have to share with you, and I really hope that you learned so much from this. It was very fun to share all of this with you, and I really hope I did a good job of showing you everything. If there's anything that I missed or anything that you would like to see, maybe some faces that I haven't covered, definitely let me know in the comments. I will share further with you. But now for a little surprise that I mentioned at the start of the video. I will be doing my very first giveaway right now. I felt like it would be fitting to give away a couple of you custom makeup since you just learned how to use it. So I'm gonna be giving away 3 custom makeups, and all the info about the giveaway are in the description and in the pinned comment. So good luck, definitely enter the giveaway, and I hope that you enjoyed this little tutorial. It was really genuinely so fun, and I'm so excited to hear your feedback. But thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe so you don't miss any future videos like this, because I have some ideas. And give this video a like if you found it helpful. That would help me so much. But I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye!